everybody, it's me, I'm MattHawes of The Happy Show, and this is another segment of The Happy History.
Welcome to.
Hey, Yoshi, this is The Happy Show again.
Welcome to The Happy Show.
Hey,
Let's go on right now. Right. Woohoo! Yeah! I had an issue with a situation, whatever you want to call it, with Archie Comics Publications. Archie Comics Publications also went after a video of mine, also claimed copyright infringement. Now, they may be able to say they had a little bit more merit in the sense that I did use some images that was taken from Archie Comics, but this is done in fair usage for the parody I was putting forth. And in fair usage, you're allowed to use certain things like that to illustrate what you're making a parody of or a satire of. And in the comic book industry, there is this thing where basically it's a slogan that they say, death sells. And I guess it's a truism that applies to the real world. Whenever somebody dies that's famous, newspapers will sell, blah, blah, blah. When a comic book character passes away, usually due to some battle or what have you, that gets the attention of the people who are reading the books and the attention of some of the collectors. Most notoriously, and well known by probably the average person, is the death of Superman that happened in the early 90s. Of course, he didn't really die. In comic books, people don't die. They don't usually stay dead. If they do die, they get better. They get well. And I was making a parody when Captain America had died. The comic books, Marvel Comics did a story where Captain America got killed, and so I decided I was going to take this and make a video, a parody, a satire of the industry in itself, making fun of these cheap gimmicks of killing people to spur sales, just cheap sensationalistic things that really isn't good storytelling. It's just a fast, easy way to try and spike up the sales. And I thought it was kind of a cheapening of the characters by doing this. So I thought, well, I'll make a parody, but what character would be least likely to actually be killed? Which publisher would be one of the most unlikely to actually have their characters die as a big event? And I thought, well, Archie. It would be hilarious because certainly you wouldn't predict that Archie would be killed off. I also use this not just to make fun of the death in comics, the way they use death as a sales gimmick, but I also wanted to take a satire look at the way that they handle marketing these characters and have these other gimmicks, not just killing off their characters, which Archie never has killed off their characters in this fashion that I can remember. But they have done a lot of these other gimmicks just as much as any other company. In fact, just recently they did a story where Archie supposedly married Betty and Veronica in different storylines. And supposedly, he married them, but it was actually alternate futures. Where, one he marries one he marries the other. That happened a few years after this deal with me, my battle with Archie. Basically, Archie took exception to my video parody, and they had it removed, and I had to fight that. I had to go and say, no, darn it, this is a parody, and I have every right to have this up. And in the end, they tried to bully me with a legal letter and all that, cease and desist. I got my video reinstated. We did work on a compromise because I thought I could go forward with this because I know I'm in the right here. But I decided, well, we'll make this easy. I'll go with the compromise of putting a disclaimer at the beginning of that video as well as at the end of the video, which is what I did, even though it kind of kills the joke a bit when you know it right off the bat. But yeah, so I went and put that forward and did that, and we reached that agreement, and that got resolved. But that was yet another case of me having to fight the powers that be over them being ridiculous over copyrights and wrongfully removing stuff. Okay, enough of the copyright history right now with the Happy Show. Let's go on to that deal with the Scientologists. Matt, you and Happy, are you involved with Scientology? I'll discuss that in the next video segment of the Happy History. Yeah! Yeah!